Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another hour with Melbourne Coptic Youth radio program. Hope you are tuned in on CYC and Pensortier on 3ZZZ 92.3 FM, 2 to 3 p.m. every Thursday. Your hosts for today, Thursday, April the 19th, 2012, Maggie Saman, Nicole Elias, and Juliana Demetosian, and yours truly, John Magala. This week's discussions are on Are We There Yet? So, in which we will discuss fast-paced society, bad virtues from speed, and taking the time. As always, today's podcast could be found on 3ZZZ.com.au for the next week, and on YouTube as tuned in on the Coptic Youth channel. If you're not already a member or posting, please ensure that you hop online and join our Facebook page. Any email requests can be sent to copticyouthradio@gmail.com. As for now, sit back and enjoy the coming hour. Thank you. Okay, guys, welcome to another week of our wonderful 3ZZZ radio. I just want to wish everybody a happy Easter, the last week. Hopefully everyone had a joyful day and nice feasts all around, and God bless you all. Okay, so today we are going to talk about, our main topic will be, are we there yet? So right now we're going to discuss it from a fast-paced society point of view. So as you're probably aware, many things are happening in life and work and careers and, you know, the media and technology, things that are coming out. And I guess it's easy to sort of get caught up and just sort of become this machine who just keeps going and forgetting about a lot of things and just following this really fast-moving society. So we want to discuss sort of things about that. So we're going to just open up to the floor, Juliana, Nicole and Maggie. So guys, Maggie, do you want to start us off?
Well, I think it's funny how you describe it to be we're like a machine. Like, I find that to be really interesting. Like, we've become so programmed because everything's just so fast. Like you said, we've got a lot of distractions coming our way through media, through music, through, I guess, the information that we hear through the news, and, you know, so I think we are getting distracted.
I think we're up to iPad number 3 now or something?
I think it's iPad number 4.
Oh, is there a 4 now? Okay.
But I guess one of the points that I wanted to make was, what about money? Do you think money is becoming part of this fast-paced society? I mean, in order to be able to live in the world in which we live in, you have to earn a certain amount, you have to be, you know, having certain kind of apparel, certain cars, things like that, to kind of be able to actually fit in and blend in. So I wonder if that's one of the driving forces that's kind of preventing us from getting to where we need to get to as Christians.
Well, I think on the money money point, because everything's getting so fast. So things that we would have enjoyed, like say going out to the movies once a month, once every 2 months, it's a regular weekend thing. So you need more money to
absolutely,
instead of like becoming like a one-off enjoyment, it's like you go every weekend as a normal outing. So not only does it like raise the standards because you get so used to it, you need the money to keep up. So money's being spent quicker.
That's so true. And I mean, there was actually a recent study that was talking about, in Western societies mainly, that we're becoming we're using credit so much that we don't have the means, and despite this, we need to be part of community, we need to be part of society, that what we're doing is we'd rather have poor credit than not fit in. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's like what you're saying. Like, we need to be, you know, going to the movies, sharing all of this stuff with our friends, and if we don't really kind of blend in very well. And it's a pressure.
It's hard to say no these days. What do you think, Nicole?
Yeah, people they tend to, I guess, run their life according to their money. So they just, every decision they make is based around getting more money. Like, what can I do to get more money? And so if most people now, they'd like sacrifice going to church on Sundays and work an extra Sunday.
That's
So,
so
like,
true.
They just feel
go out.
obliged,
Yeah.
like to actually become this person that everyone like needs to see, or like, you know, I need to have a certain car or a certain house, or and not actually think about themselves and what is important to them, really, like what they're about, sort of thing. Like,
Can
yeah,
I say
yeah.
that, just because we've got 3 girls on the floor today, aside from you, John, but I just
Thank
wanted
you.
to ask, we've got, I was thinking about what about image, like body image, and this may be more of an issue for girls than perhaps the guys. I'm not sure, I don't know. But I was thinking, you know, they were doing a study and saying that girls are having eating disorders, but it's becoming so problematic that they're trying to hide it from their families. And I was just thinking, given the media and what we promote on the internet, on, you know, media, all these social websites, it's making it really difficult for girls to even kind of be confident about their image as well.
yeah, definitely, especially when magazines like are photoshopping all their images, so girls want to be like those like unrealistic people.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's hard for them because like they just get so caught up in it,
Absolutely.
trying to be something that doesn't really.
It's not realistic.
unattainable.
Yeah. I think these like supermodels they have in these magazines, I mean, we forget that that's their job. So they, you know, the same way we study to become whatever we want to be in our career, they got to stay fit. So they got to, it's almost like their work is going to the gym.
Absolutely.
So I think that's kind of like the reality check we need to have, that that's their job. Like, there's nothing wrong with going to the gym and working out and making sure you, like, want to stay fit and all that. But
Absolutely.
the reason behind it really matters. And I think because
I agree.
I think that's the thing, because we're such a fast-paced society, the standards, like I said, go up, so everything is becoming like a perfectionist. Like, if you don't have a perfect body, if you don't, you know, it's not, there's no such thing as a BMI and healthy standard anymore. It's become like, are you fitting into a size 8? If you're not a size 8, then what on earth are you doing?
Really, how scary is that? And then I guess the other thing that it brings us to is then, so we're so fast-paced and we've got so many distractions, how do we get back on track?
Back to basics.
Yeah.
That's
Back
what
to
I-
basics, and you have to ask yourself, you know, what's important to me. I mean, there's heaps of media is a very huge thing, I think, in society, and has a very strong impact on many people. Like, so you have to question yourself and become aware of who you are exactly, and who you're trying to impress. Like, you know, are you doing this just to fit into a certain group or a stereotype, or are you just praying and wanting to please God? And none of that really becomes like important to you.
Yeah. Well, what
To an extent, like, not to say that, you know, you shouldn't work and buy nice things for yourself, but there's a line, I think.
what scares me is in the whole, like, that everything's about perfection now and all that. This doesn't really scare me. Like, that's fantastic to aim for such a perfect standard. I think it's good to challenge yourself all the time. But the thing that scares me the most, because everything's so fast-paced, that because, like, our internet's fast, our cars are fast, everything's fast, so we think our prayer should be faster, and this is faster. And then almost, like, I remember I was talking to my mum, I'm like, oh my, I'm nearly 21. I just graduated from school. Like, I've been living such a, like, fast lifestyle. Like, the last 3 years have gone by like that. I haven't even, like, I'm nearly graduated. I'm nearly finished uni. I just I just remember starting. Like, instead of, like, focusing on my uni years and having fun, I was so focused on can't wait to work full time that I nearly missed, like, my uni years. Like, I think the most important thing, like, enjoy every moment, because that next moment will come. Like, it's bound to come. Like, eventually we'll all work full time, and, you know, you always want, like, you know, I think that goes back to you always want what you can't have. When I'm going to be working full time, I wish I was at uni.
You so will want to be back at uni.
Don't worry, I work part time when I want to stay at uni.
But I mean, I think that's a really good point. Like, I think it's okay to challenge ourselves, but I think it's also about getting back to basics, kind of setting your time about with God and getting your priorities in order, because like you said, you don't want to miss out on what's really important in that moment.
Yeah, I agree. I think you got to enjoy the moment.
So you've got all of these ideas and how you want to do things, but I think because you're so thinking so quickly, you've got to get things done, you're impatient, you're trying to reach the end point as such, you're actually missing out on what your focus is. So you kind of get distracted, and again, it kind of stems from what we were talking about before, but basically you lose your focus, and I think that's quite dangerous, actually.
Definitely. Like, I mean, taking your time with things, and when you learn along the way, whether it takes you where you want to go or has a detour and comes back on track, you have to sort of step back and take a good look.
And I think that's important because you've got the moment to reflect. And I think we kind of get caught up in being busy, that we don't reflect on who we are, where we're going. You know, like what you said, you know, is God pleased with where I'm at right now? Is this making you proud?
Definitely. A lot of planning needs to come into this as well. Like, people need to make time and have sort of importance, like being task orientated, not just focusing on one thing and getting somewhere specifically in a certain amount of time. Like, you need to take steps and plan sort of properly.
And Nicole, what do you think the disadvantage of being so impatient or being so focused on being, you know, right at that moment and being so fast paced? What do you think the problem is?
Well, I think life is just so fast. We just need to just relax. Like, life will just pass you by, and then one day you'll be old and you'll lose. Like, you won't be able to do half the things that you can do now. Like, you could do now, and you'll regret. And you'll get like close to the end of life, and you'll be like, "What have I done? What have I achieved?" And so it's just good to take time, relax, and just think, you know, what do I want to do? What do I want to get out of life?
What's my purpose?
Yeah, what's my purpose?
I like that.
What can I do to help other people? And just like little things like that. So
I agree with that. I was actually also going to say, in terms of being able to be focused and getting back on track, my thought was it's really about setting what your priorities are.
Definitely.
So, I mean, you know, what is our priorities? You know, in our day and age, what should we be focusing on?
Well, someone once told me, like, if you meet, this is a bit like off topic, but it has a point, I promise. It was saying, like, if you meet me, Maggie, and I say I'm a tennis lover. If you meet me, one of the first things you should be able to pick up on is my love for tennis, because I'll end up being, no, I'm just giving an example, but I do love tennis, but I'm saying I'll end up saying, like, I'll mention a few things about tennis, or say when you love your family, when you meet someone for the first time that's never met you, you'll end up, you mention the things you love. So if you say God's your priority, you'll end up mentioning him. I think that goes the same thing again on the weekends. If you say you love your family, you'll be usually hanging out with the people you love. If you love God, then you'll be hanging with God at church on the weekend. Like, and you won't have a problem with it. Like, you're with the person you love. You're with the other people you have fun with. Like, it won't be boring to you. It won't be a task. So with the whole, like, quick virtues and everything going so fast, I feel like, you know, we're like, okay, we gotta go to church, but then we gotta go to party, but then we gotta go do this. I'm like, whoa. Like, and then Monday comes and I'm like, wait, what did I do with my weekend again? Although I was in a million places, I actually, like, can't even remember what I did. So that's where I think it just goes back to, like, prioritizing. You're right. Like, you don't need to do all at once. You don't need to go to everything on the weekend.
And I think it comes back to this idea, the reason that we're doing things and what's our intention behind what we're doing. Do you know what I mean? Like, we were talking about, you know, our intention is to serve and be part of the church. What's our drive behind that? Is it because we want to kind of be with all of these other people, or are we genuinely doing it because we feel that it will bring us closer? So I think it's part of, you know, getting our priorities back on track. But in terms of doing this, also, what's our driving force? Does that make sense?
It does. Well, like, Nicole, you can answer this. Like, spiritually, from the whole, like, being busy, how does it spiritually affect us? What ends up happening? Like,
You're on the spot, Nicole.
Well, in my expert opinion on this topic, I would say you just get lost. Like, you forget, like, you know, how your parents brought you up. You forget the simple things. Like, you forget how much, like, you know, when we were younger, our favourite verse, like, God loves you. You know, it's the only verse that we used to know. But just, like, you forget how much he loves you, and, you know, he knows how many hairs on your head. And, you know, you don't really care about, like, no one else cares about how many hairs on your head. No one loves you that much. So when you remember, like, these basic things, like we were saying before, then, like, it seems easy to wake up, like, early in the morning, go to church, and just do things to serve God. Like, why not? Like, this effort is worth it for like what he did for us, like, you know.
Exactly.
Especially after Easter, sent his son.
Well, exactly. And also the whole, I think because we were saying we were so like fast paced that we forget like how important it is to have like just a decent conversation, like how important it is. Yeah, to just like, you know, the importance of just sitting down and having like a good 10-minute heart-to-heart chat with your parents instead of like that phone call on the way home. Hey, what are you doing? What's for dinner? And you're done. Like, go back to basics. Have like if it's like half an hour for your family, it's half an hour without your phone, without the iPad, without the I don't know what else, PS2, PS3, computers. I don't know what else is out there. Yeah, just every moment, enjoy it and let it be for that moment. So if you're at church, it's just you and God. If you're with your friend, it's, you know, it's friend time. Like,
yeah, I just wanted to add also like patience. Always have patience and be open-minded and wise in what you're doing. Like, God can send you messages through anyone. It could be a little kid, could be someone on the train, someone you'd never think of even looking at or, you know, saying hi or smiling at. Could be an old lady on the train. Hey, like, so I think we have to be open-minded and patient and let it take its course, because he could be giving you a message for something, or when you're fast-paced and you're just focusing on one thing, that's irrelevant. It's basically you're creating this, who's that, or like it's just a whole different sort of thinking. You're perceiving things differently totally, and it has heaps of bad effects on if you have family, kids, you know, and you're like if you're a workaholic and, you know, you miss out on a lot of kids that got karate one week, or, you know, an outing or a school function, and so neglect can come into it as well. Like,
and on that, I was just going to say, for those people who are still kind of going through their journey with God and trying to get closer, I was just going to say that if you make God be the lead, everything else falls into place. It kind of like, you know, if you let him take control, take the reins of, you know, where we're at and where we're going, everything else really, you kind of appreciate what's valuable to you and where you're going, and where you need to go. And you learn to prioritize. I don't know, he has this special way of really talking to each individual and directing them and letting them know what is truly important.
Definitely.
So hopefully that, you know, that's of some use.
Yeah, I just want to mention, two verses. I'll mention one now from Romans 15, chapter 5, which says, "Now may the God of patience and comfort grant you to be like-minded toward one another, according to Christ Jesus." So we have to be patient with each other and sort of listen to each other, and things will sort of...
Yeah, I was just going to go into Maggie's point about letting God control it. This is a bit of a personal experience, but I was a bit of a control freak. Like, I need to know where my, like, a 10-year plan and, like, to the point. And I was very, like, I'm in control, yada, yada, yada. And then, like, when things like life, nothing goes your way. And then I remember I was like, okay, I seriously got to, like, I'm not in control, so who's in control here? And you let it go. I don't know if, like, you just get a sense of, like, peace. Yeah, you're like, okay. I'm like, I guess I'm not graduating right now. Like, okay. You're like, you surrender it. And it's not like I think with these days in society, surrender is such a bad thing. Like, oh God, no, don't surrender. But it's like...
So submitting yourself to God, I think that's very hard for a lot of people. They want to feel that they're in control, or they're a self-made person, which no one is. God made us all, and he's in control of everyone, and he knows our destiny, and his will is going to be done either way. We have to change this, I'm self-made, I can do what I want, or... You know, I've created this person today, which is obviously wrong. I mean, you have to submit to God. And,
with everything going so fast, you feel like if it's going so fast, you should be in control. You don't have time for anyone else to try and control it. You need to be in control. But when you're saying when you let God take care of it, everything else falls into place. I think it quickly falls into place. So it kind of like coincides with what society believes in. Like, quickly you find who your friends are. You find this. You find that. So that's what I think that's the secret in it all right now.
Yeah, and when you put your, like, trust and faith in God, it just helps you to relax. Like, you find that you're less stressed. Yeah. Like, things, you don't have to worry about, you know, am I going to have enough money to like, have food on the table tomorrow? Like, you just relax, leave everything to God, and things just happen. Like, somehow they just happen.
Yeah, definitely. Just want to mention one more verse. Sorry, I love this verse always, yeah. From James chapter 1, verse 4, but let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. So it pretty much sums up what we're talking about. Now we're going to focus on taking the time. So basically, we're going to sum up what we're discussing in the last two topics. I'm going to hand it straight over to Juliana. She's just going to discuss a few quotes she was mentioning before, and we'll get into our discussion. So, Juliana.
Thanks, John. All right, so the last two segments we spoke about the fast-paced society, how society does things these days, what are the consequences of moving so fast. So we mentioned that, some of the consequences that because we like some of the hobbies we do, things that our parents used to see as a big treat, like going to the movies once a month if they studied really hard, it's become now like a weekend, not even a weekend, it could be 2 times a week. And the consequences we mentioned was that you kind of forget to like stand back and go, oh, let's enjoy the moment that you're in, like enjoy the movie and enjoy this and enjoy that. And we mentioned that all of a sudden we find that life just passes by and, what did you do? You didn't enjoy anything. So we wanted to really talk about how can you take a step back? How can you really slow down? Because, I know a lot of people say they really want to slow down, but they don't actually, like when the world's moving so fast, they really struggle to actually slow down themselves. And that's the hard part. So we want to talk about now, like how can you personally slow down when everything else around you is still going to be moving fast? Because in order to change even just the people around you, not necessarily, let's not go change the world, but the people around you, you've got to start with yourself. And in the beginning, it's going to be really hard because you're going to want to slow down and people are still moving. So we kind of said, we were discussing and we thought some of the things you kind of could do is like do some charity work or visitations. And some of the reasons we were saying was when you do visitations or charity work, like say charity work, you visit people that are less fortunate than you, you realize that you're working, you're taking that extra shift like Nicole mentioned before on a Sunday to pay for something that you don't even need. Like instead of going to that work on Sunday on that shift, you could be spending that quality time with God. People don't even know God these days. Like you are so much more privileged than that. You know God and you have a relationship with, and you can go to his house. Like how much more privileged do you want to be? And we're saying that when you see people that are so unfortunate, you really like enjoy what you have and you go, okay, I don't need to work so much. Let me just enjoy what God's given me here. So
just on that, the simplest things in life I think are free. Like, you can meet so much new people and have a whole new outlook, like this whole different thing from what your everyday lives are, walking into church and getting to know people and listening to the Word of God. And it's just amazing, when you think about it, like truly, everyone's caught up with, I need to have this, I need to have that, how much is this, you know what I mean? Like, just to stop and think about that is a wonderful thing. Like, it's... Yeah.
I think the idea is changing the focus from yourself to other people. I think that's really what it becomes. It's a change of mindset. So looking at other people, what other people's needs are, rather than looking at my own needs and what I need to do. Because when we're looking at a fast-paced society, what am I thinking about? I'm thinking what I need. I need to fit in with the people around me. I need to have the best looking car. I need to have, this outfit that's amazing from whatever. I need to have the best sort of appliance or whatever. So I think when you do charity work or when you are involved in church and you are giving back and you're part of a servant group or something like that, what you're saying is, I'm not actually thinking about myself. I'm thinking about the people around me. So I'm giving back.
And on that, how hard can that be from someone who works, 80 hours a week and just worries about his possessions and this is my position and this is me. And, I want to become this huge manager one day, to stop all that and think about someone else. Think about his needs. It's really hard. It's a struggle. It is hard, but definitely we need to try and do that.
Exactly, because it's worth it. Because in the end, like, what do we work for? Just materialistic things that don't last. They come and they go, they break, they get stolen. And then, like that doesn't benefit anyone. You just, get so caught up in all the media and saying, like, you need this. If you want to live a great life, you need this new mop, whatever makes life easier. Yeah. Or get this Thin Lizzy, make you so beautiful, we don't need, like, just think about it, we don't need all of that. I think what we need to start focusing on is how to be truly happy. And you see the people who are doing charity work or visitations, like those are the people who are like truly happy. Like they're always smiling, because when you help someone else, like when you give, you just feel so much like more rewarded than being like,
it's a good feeling, yeah,
tanned or whatever.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I actually agree with you, Nikki. Like, I was just going to say, it's amazing. Like, when you're actually doing good things for other people, you do feel good. And I'm just wondering, why is it that we do feel good? I mean, I think really God has created us in such a way where we're supposed to be part of community and giving back. It's not all about ourselves. So I just wonder, and I just would like to kind of see what you think. But why is it that you feel good when you're actually doing something for someone else?
My answer would be that, when you're kind of like, it's me, and you're such it's a selfish perspective.
Yeah.
You feel like you're working so hard, yet you're not gaining much.
I like
and
that.
then when you start just forget about yourself, and it's a very selfless attitude.
Yeah.
You do nothing for yourself, yet you're receiving so much in return. And I think that's God's grace kicking in.
Yeah.
God's like, you know what? You're not even thinking about yourself. I'm going to take care of you.
I like
that's what I think. But on the note of visitations and like, when you sit, I find when you sit with old people, and I don't want to, I don't know if this is the wrong thing, but their life is coming to an end.
Yeah.
They're at a stage. It's their final stages, and they sit there and. You find most of their stories did not consist of, I was driving down on the Great Barrier Reef in a BMW. It's nothing like that. It's like, do you remember that Christmas when we went out for a barbecue? Like, it's very the stories doesn't include anything material. It's always about the moment.
True.
Like, do you remember that time when all the family and all the loved ones, and then hearing those stories makes you really go, oh my, what am I doing wrong? Because I'm living that moment right now, like the ones they're talking about, but am I that happy?
Like, and am I creating memories?
Yeah, exactly.
Am I making an influence on someone else? Am I causing someone else to feel happy to be in my company? All of these things that we really don't hold up in such high regard. And I think you've hit it right on the head. It's kind of when you are around people like that who have made so much of their life and made a mark, you kind of think to yourself, well, what am I doing? Yeah. Like, it's true.
Sorry, I was going to say, when a Tadros once I'm at St. Mary's School, and he used to always repetitively say this. He used to say the best two age groups to hang around with are under 5 and above 70. He's like, because you learn the most out of them. He's like, the kids are so innocent, and the adults, like, they're so
innocent as well.
Yeah, they're so innocent, but they've seen it all, and then you really learn what the meaning of life is. And I'm like, I know it's like such a, like, he doesn't leave much room to move, but I think it was the best advice you ever get, because you're like, he's like, abuse their wisdom. Like, they know what they're talking about, and the kids, they don't know they don't know the problems that you're experiencing. Like, they're literally like, they'll smell a flower and they'll be like, my sister, she's 10 years old, she'll smell a flower and she'll be right that it smells good. And I'm like, when did I lose that? Like, I should be in her place. Like, I should be experiencing it. Yeah,
exactly. Like, that's what we forget. We get so caught up in the fast pace. We forget to just slow down and enjoy, like, the sunset or, the stars at night. Like, we forget to look at the beauty, and like, that's the kind of things that true happiness comes from.
Definitely.
But
just want to mention one verse from Philippians chapter 2 verse 4. Let each of you look out not only for his own interests, but also for the interests of others. So we have to sort of, try and, where we can. A lot of people are blessed with many things. I guess it's the way they use that towards others, or helping others, or charities, and not just like becoming this, very pride within themselves and just selfish and sort of thinking of their own. Does that make
Sorry, John, I just have to make a point. The other thing is, I think God has given us all of these gifts as well, which he would like us to use, and I think sometimes we kind of miss the point and think, well, does he really, like, we question sometimes, does he have my interests really at heart? And I truly believe that God wants us to use our gifts, our talents, and, he wants us to go out there and be ambitious and, find a calling in life and have a great profession that you're happy to be a part of. Like, all of these things God wants for us. I mean, let's not miss the mark. This is what we're here to do, and we can serve God through our mission, through this purpose. But I think also in saying that, I think when, like what we mentioned before, like having God as your number one priority, it kind of, you set the scene for how you're applying yourself. So whether it be in work, whether it be in sport, whether it be in church service, it really sets the mark for how you're glorifying God.
Through that as well, it helps you see yourself. You become more aware of yourself and your mistakes, which helps you with repentance, like seeing a lot of things and sort of contemplating, reflecting back on, you know, what you were doing and sort of this new phase will help you, become a better person, you know, spiritually as well, and becoming more aware of that.
I was just going to tap quickly on Maggie's point when you were saying God gives you this stuff. I mean, we got to remember God's given it to us. It is God given. So God doesn't give us, you know, money to collect it. Just keep collecting it. He wants us to use it, but use it wisely. He doesn't give it. He doesn't give you things like. I think it becomes a sin when you're just collecting it, because then you're not enjoying it. But at the same time, if you're not using it wisely, and again, that goes back to Nicole's point and our main point of this whole show today is keep a balance. Like, if he's giving you, like, if you got money, don't go collecting 20 cars and they sit in their garage and you're miserable. He gives it to you so you can be like, I'm going to go out and enjoy this beautiful gift that God's given me in a good way. Don't get fined.
Yeah, definitely.
With the idea of giving, like, you'll notice that people who God does give a lot of money to, or gives a lot of, you know, I guess, wealth in other areas. I mean, there are many kinds of wealth or talents or what have you. You will notice that if people are truly glorifying God, the amount that they will reap is tremendous. Like, you hear about people, you know, who start off doing missionary work that's really small amounts, and then they, like Abuna Amba Antonius Moros in Africa, started off really small, and he's out there doing amazing things with the very little that he initially had. But because he was giving so much, he got so much in return.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I think we'll end it on that note. And thanks, guys. That concludes this week's hour of Coptic Youth Radio program from Melbourne. Pencil Tier on 3ZZZ 92.3 FM and tuned in on CYC. So I hope you enjoyed listening in. If you've missed any part of this segment or would like to listen to it again, you can always access today's podcast on the site, 3ZZZ.com.au, for the next week, and on YouTube as Tuned In on the Coptic Youth channel. If you're not already a member or posting, please ensure that you hop online and join our Facebook page, and we'd love to hear from you guys. Any email feedback or requests can be sent to us on copticyouthradio@gmail.com. Thanks again. Bye.